Well, welcome. Welcome to our first Lcap meeting of this school year. And we've got, well, about a third of the people joining are new members. And so I want to extend a welcome to our new members in particular. And it's good to see a lot of, a lot of smiling faces here. I'll turn it over to John, who is our Lcap director. And oh, by the way, I'm Tom Nelson, current chair of the Lcap committee. But we've got it on our agenda to have elections. So there will be, we expect there will be a change in leadership tonight as we go through the elections, which is aside from that, and I think the minutes, those are only two actual action items that we will be taking votes on. The rest of the agenda items are mostly discussion and information items. So with that, I will turn it over to John, our Lcap director, to do the welcome of everybody.
Thanks, Tom. Well, again, welcome everybody and Happy New Year. Just want to thank you for joining us this evening. As Tom mentioned, my name is John Tornatorian. I'm the Director of Continuous Improvement and Lcap here in San Juan. As Tom mentioned, in addition to our reoccurring operational items, our agenda this evening is going to include reviewing some foundational documents that will guide our work together as an Lcap PAC, as well as holding Lcap PAC chair and co-chair elections this evening. So to start us off this evening, I would like to welcome our new members and maybe give each of you an opportunity to introduce yourself to the group. So to our new members, I guess I'll call on you, and if you would could please just share your name, your connection to San Juan, and what brings you to the Lcap PAC. We would love to hear from you. And Laura, if you want to bring up the PowerPoint slide, and so that way those prompts are up for our new members as well. Perfect. So the first name I have here, so Deborah, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, my name's Deborah Avalos, and my son is a student in a San Juan school. He goes to Cowan Fundamental, and we actually have back to school night tonight, so I have to leave early, just so everyone knows. I'll be skipping out and then coming back, hopefully. And then what brings me to the Lcap PAC is that I'm a former teacher and administrator, and now I work at the California Department of Education, and I'm just really passionate about helping vulnerable populations, and I just want to, I guess, lend a hand to ensure that students in San Juan are represented in the Lcap. And so just, I guess that's why.
Thank you, Deborah. Well, welcome.
Thanks.
Karen, would you like to go next?
Sure, no problem. Excited to be a part of the Lcap PAC. And I have two children, a part of San Juan, a 10th grader that attends El Camino High Fundamental School, and a first grader that attends Greer Elementary School. So I served in the military, and now I work with seniors. So I'm kind of everywhere. I did volunteer last year at the school, so I got a chance to get that lens, and that was really great. And I'm just excited to be here and give my support coming from low income family, and see what we can do together.
Yeah, we're excited to have you here, Karen. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next we have Faisal.
Yes. Hi, doing everybody. Thank you for having me here in this Lcap PAC committee. I'm really excited about that as well. My connection, now I'm a new member. I'm an ex-father for two graduates from San Juan Unified School District. And I was a former employee with San Juan Unified School District. What's bringing me to the Lcap is that I like to represent the low-income and immigrant communities that which I believe San Juan is one of the hubs that have a lot of children or a lot of students that are enrolled under it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have April. April here this evening.
Hi, I'm
Hi.
April Green. I am a special education teacher and I don't work for the district, but I have children in the district. And I think because I have children in special ed, I've always been a firm believer in not having them where I work so that I can advocate for them the way that I feel I need to as a parent. I actually work for a virtual homeschool charter. So when everyone went virtual last year, I was like, I already know how to do this. Old news. And then what brought me to the Lcap pack was I just got an email and I was like, hey, this looks interesting. And I said, okay, I'll apply. We'll see what happens. And that's what brought me here.
Well, thanks for joining us, April. Next, we have Elizabeth.
I'm unmuted. Hi, I've got two daughters at Del Deo right now in 4th and 5th grade, and another that's going to be starting there next year. I am currently a stay-at-home mom. Former life, I was an attorney. I did public entity work, and I've been home since my last daughter was born. And I joined the site council this year at their school, and I thought that was a really great experience. I felt really good about some of the work that we did. We were able to get some multicultural books added to the library. And as a mom of biracial kids, that meant a lot to me. Like, I feel like that's going to be something positive for years to come. And when I saw the email go out about this group, I thought, okay, this is something else I could do to maybe help some other kids in other locations. So that's how I ended up here.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And then finally, we have Neelam.
Hi, it's me, Neelam. I'm so excited to being part of Lcap and PAC member. I have one daughter. She is in Mariposa Elementary School, and I am the site council member also over there. As I have done family leadership training 6 weeks. From that, I joined meeting to Lcap, and I am so glad to be the part and thankful for Laura and Tom to support me. And I'm here. Have a good time. Thank you.
See you again, Neelam. And we actually have someone else I want to introduce this evening. We have Gellica Harrison, who is the Assistant Director for the Assessment, Evaluation, and Planning Division. So Gellica, would you like to introduce yourself, since you'll be helping us out quite a bit with the Lcap this year?
Sure, absolutely. I'm excited to be here. My name is Gellica Harrison. I'm a homegrown San Juan individual. I elementary school, middle school, high school. I taught. I've been a vice principal. I've been a principal, and I'm excited to take on this new role. I have a passion for San Juan. I have a passion for kids, and I'm excited to take on this new role as Assistant Director of Assessment and support the Lcap. So thank you.
Thanks, Gellica. All right, so with that, I'm going to now turn it over to Heather, who's going to help facilitate our community building activity this evening. So,
John, just
yeah.
real quick, before we do that, can we introduce, I don't know if our new PAC members have been introduced to our board.
Good idea.
My apologies.
Okay. So Paula Villasquez is with us. She is our board president. So Paula, you want to?
Yeah, thank you, Melissa. Hi, I'm Paula Vasquez. I am currently the president for the San Juan Unified Board of Education. And I will note, we've got a little bit of time further down the agenda for a more robust update, but I do appreciate the opportunity to introduce myself. I also have my colleague, Dr. Mike McKibben, who's our vice president. Mike, I'll kick it to you.
Hi, I'm Mike McKibben. I've been liaison for some years to this committee. Looking forward to a new year with you all. And we'll, as Paula said, we'll talk a little bit more a little bit later.
Thank you. All right, so Heather, would you like to jump in?
Yeah, I am happy to jump in. Hey, everyone, Heather Gonzalez. I'm really excited for this new year to be kicking off and especially want to welcome our new folks to our Lcap family. So today I thought it would be cool since we're starting off a new Lcap year and some of us have an abundance of wisdom and have been doing this for a while. If we could popcorn to each of the Lcap members, new and old, and what may be cool if our returning Lcap members can share a nugget of wisdom that you have gained in your experience on Lcap that you think is important for our new members to know. And for our new members, if you would share with us in the group around something that you would like to contribute or wisdom that you would like to gain in this next year. So without further ado, I will go ahead and kick it off. I think something that is important to know is that your voice has value. You're here for a reason. And when you're looking at the data, sometimes you can question that because the Lcap is a bit of a beast, right? And so I know in my first year, I caught myself wondering, maybe I don't know if I'm doing this right, or, and so stick with it, know that your voice matters, and know that, your experiences, are valuable. And that's exactly what we need in this space to really come up with recommendations that will hopefully continue to support student success. And with that being said, I will go ahead and popcorn to our beautiful Karen. If you would like to share with us what you hope to gain in this next year or contribute.
Well, I also serve on the site committee at Greer Elementary. And so what I hope to contribute is hopefully just a different view, a different lens from someone that I'm not born and raised in California. I'm actually born and raised in Jackson, Mississippi. And I do feel that San Juan is a great district. We are making strides for many, many different things. I'm seeing just different cultures, different types of people, different just advancements at the schools themselves. So I definitely think it's a great district. And I hope to gain in the next year, just learn about Lcap, learn what exactly it is. I've watched all the YouTube videos, subscribed, and just hope that I can hopefully contribute my voice.
Beautiful. It sounds like you're doing it right? Like you're learning and you got this. Who would you like to popcorn, Miss Karen?
I'm gonna throw it to anybody on the board. Amber. I don't know. I like your picture.
I knew that was coming somehow. Thank you, Karen. I'm Amber Busby. I am a Star King parent, and we will likely be working together as I am also working at Greer this year. And I think something that I have learned, a nugget of wisdom that I would pass along is really let your passions lead you in this committee. There will be a time where, well, I'm kind of anticipating and guessing that there will be a time where we look at what focus areas we really want to attach ourselves to and be able to provide feedback and suggestions around specific areas. I've got climate and culture on my brain right now. And then there's like a few of them. And so, yeah, if you find yourself particularly drawn to wanting to unpack those or any of the areas, then yeah, just kind of let your passions lead you. And I would piggyback on what Heather said, that our voice definitely does matter here in the district. And I will popcorn it to, let's see here. I will popcorn it to Zaina.
Oh, thank you, Amber. It's Zina. Anyway, it's Zina. So, so the most thing that I like with the Lcap is that they spotlight on the, English learners, students, which my two daughters were one of them. So it's very important to focus on these, these students who cannot speak English well or who are learning to speak English. And I'll pick, let's say, Jennifer.
Hi. I'm excited to be here and be part of this process. I'm the current CFO with San Juan Unified, and although I don't have students in this district, I do have students in a school district that has an Lcap, and so I know the importance and the value in the Lcap in providing services for students in need. And so I'm ready to be part of our planning for amazing things for our students. And I'm going to pass this on to Jackson.
Hi, my name is Jackson Fortin. I'm a current student at Rio Americano High School. I think this is my third year on the PAC. I think the thing that I've learned most from being a part of this is, it's always important to share your experience and your wisdom that you have gained. That's really valuable when we're talking about all these really important suggestions that we're making for our for the other students. I think sharing the wisdom that you have in your personal experiences can be really valuable. And yeah, I'll popcorn it to let's see, Steve.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree with everything that the current PAC members have said. This is my second year, and like some things that came to my mind were just real like collaboration that is I haven't found in a long time. So there's real collaboration with like-minded people looking out for the kids pretty much solely, and you definitely want to, like, I can't remember who said it, but you want to use your own experiences and your own passions, absolutely. And really just to help others see your experiences and some things just to help others, really. You're using your experiences to help others that may be going through something similar that you can relate to. So that's what I've definitely got from my first year.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Steve. And I realize that we'll probably need to give a little bit shorter answers because there are a lot of us. And so although I love everything that everyone is sharing, I do want to be respectful of time. Steve, who are you going to pick on? I mean, sorry.
I'll pick on Tom.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh, hello. Okay, yeah, I guess a bit of wisdom is, for one, be true to yourself, and then to relate that to something that basically finding common ground by referencing how that connects with, for example, the overall arching work of the whole school district is sort of embodied in our strategic framework, and then connecting what in the strategic framework really kind of resonates with your values and your beliefs, because that's something then that as a group we can all kind of, that the strategic framework and Lcap goals sort of frame that common ground that we all share. So that's my bit of wisdom. And I will popcorn over to Kim Brown.
Hi, everyone. My name's Kim. I have 3 students at in the district, 2 in junior high and 1 elementary, Churchill and Cowan. So I have a few things that that I really got out of Lcap from being here for the few years I have. And that's one, I learned to listen better, a lot better. And then I also learned how to see things from someone else's perspective. And that has been huge for me, because when you look through your own lens, you just see things one way, and you may not be able to really assist students and parents in the best way that you can, only looking through that one lens. And with that, it was a lot of collaboration that we did, and I really enjoyed that. And I'm sure many of you will as well. Thanks.
Beautiful, Ms. Kim. Who would you like to tag next?
Oh, let's see. Hazel?
Yes. Hi again. So I'll put in a few words. My perspective, like to work to understand the needs for the needs of the students. Those needs are changing really in a fast pace with time. So I think we need, from my side, like need to understand it and work accordingly to help them to achieve their educational goals. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Faisal. Who would you like to choose to go next?
Deborah?
So, like I said earlier, I work at the California Department of Education. And in my role, I've reviewed many LCAPs. So I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. And so I would just hope that I can be able to contribute some wisdom that I've gained from the good LCAPs I've reviewed and what they should include to ensure that all students are represented. And yeah, I guess that's it. Oh, and popcorn to April.
My unmute wasn't working. So yeah, I have 2 students with the district. I have one at Carriage Elementary and one at Sylvan. And what I hope to get from the LCAP is to just learn more about the district and how the program impacts students, and bring a perspective that maybe others don't have to the team, so that we can collaborate to make the educational experience for each individual student as meaningful as possible. And I will popcorn to, I have no idea who's left.
Well, I'm looking at Elizabeth right now, just on my screen. I know she has not went, so maybe we could popcorn with her.
Okay, that sounds
to
great.
her. Thanks.
Thank you. I think my initial role here starting off is I'm here to just try to listen in the beginning. I know contribute or gain was the initial question. I right now I'm just eager to learn more about how everything works, what the interplay is of this group, the structure of the LCAP in general, and also like I believe it was Kim mentioned earlier, listening to everyone's needs and seeing, you know, where we can be of assistance, and hearing everyone else's perspectives, and just trying to, I guess, trying to start off with that mindset.
Wonderful. Thank you. And did you have someone you wanted to popcorn, or?
Oh gosh. Okay. Who's left?
The memory game. Well, there's Jackson, Stephanie. I think both of them are left. I think there's a couple others. I think Neelam still has to go as well.
No one wants to raise their hands, huh? Okay.
Yeah,
right.
that would be a great idea. Actually, if folks could raise their hands who haven't went, because then that way it won't be a memory game too.
Who we got?
Um,
I don't know. Why I'm looking here for anyone.
I'll go if you want me to, because I have no voice barely.
Stephanie? Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Stephanie.
Okay, let me turn my mic on so you guys see me right now. Okay. So Elnora is actually, she's in the kitchen baking brownies, acting like this LCAP is like in person. So the feedback she has gotten, she wants me to say for her, and then I say mine, is that the support from the board of us going through foster care, and then the foster care students. So, and her being there advocating for other students. So that support of just the board as us becoming a family, that's one of the negatives becoming to a positive that we have gotten for the last year. And then me, this will be my 4th year. So again, You guys are my family. You guys are tagged. I don't care what. Now you're just tagged by me. So I'm just not christening you, but you are family now. So you can't deny it now. And so just the feedback and just be mindful of how other people are feeling and just take it and grasp with it and run with it. And it's just a learning lesson, I guess. And just explore out where you just see other people's perspectives, how they live and how they feel. And that's all I can say. It's just, that's all the feedback that I got from my board. So anyways, you guys are family now.
We are. Thank you, Miss Stephanie. I'm going to go ahead and Neelam, I think you still have to go.
Thank you. Just being the part of Lcap, I really want to learn more because I'm new, and as well as I want to support the student who are in need and make them happy, as well as the parent who don't know anything, who want support from my side. If I do, that is glad and supporting the community. That was thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And Laura, I may need an assist. Is there anyone else that we need to check in on?
I think we still need Jackson, right?
Jackson. Yes, Jackson.
I did go.
He did go, yeah.
Oh, what the heck? See, I think we all still have the memory part.
How about if anybody didn't go, would you like to raise your hand? I think we've covered everybody.
Wonderful. Well, thank you all for joining, for being here, for sharing, and I will kick it back to Laura and John.
Okay. And with that, we are going to do a roll call of our members. So how we do this for the new members is I'm just going to go down the list of our members and just say yes that you're here. I've captured most of you as you entered the waiting room, but I may have missed some of you. So I'm just going to go ahead and start reading off the names and just say yes if you're here. So first I'll start with Deborah Avalos. Is Deborah? Okay. I know she had a back to school night, so she may be joining us in about an hour. Okay, how about Karen Brown?
Here, present.
Yeah. And Kim, it looks like Kim popped off too for about 5 to 10 minutes for back to school night, but she's here. Amber?
Here.
Elnoria? And she's making brownies in the kitchen. Okay.
Oh yeah, she is making brownies. She just put her pan in the oven. She said here.
Is she going to share with us, Stephanie?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And Stephanie's here. How about Faisal?
Yes, here.
Faisal, do you go by, is it Faisal or Faisal?
Either one.
Okay. Thank you. Jackson?
Yes, I'm here.
Thanks, Jackson. It's good to hear you. Heather? April?
Here.
Thank you. Elizabeth?
Yes, here.
Chelsea? Not yet. Okay. Zena?
Yes.
Tom?
Here.
Neelam?
I'm here.
Steve?
Yep, present.
And Jacqueline? Oh, great. So now, Tom, did you want to go into the minutes?
Yeah, I just wanted to check though, Beatrice, she's a member, right? But not present?
Correct. She notified us today that she was not able to make it due to a work obligation.
Okay, thank you. All right, I'll hopefully, all right, well, let's see, following the agenda, our next item on the agenda is item 5, approval of the minutes. Hopefully people have had a chance to look at the minutes that were sent out earlier in the email from Laura. And at this point, as I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes. Do I hear a motion from somebody to approve the minutes from our previous meeting?
It would be the June 3rd meeting. So we have a first.
Steve Rubens
Steve?
approved to, move to approve the minutes, excuse me, from our June 3rd
Great.
meeting.
Thank you. Thank you, Steve.
Steve, is there a second?
I will second.
Okay, thank you, Heather. Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Now, is there any discussion on the minutes? Anybody notice any corrections or changes? If not, then let's see, seeing no response on corrections or changes, then I'll call for a vote to approve the minutes. Laura, I'll let you go through the vote.
Sure. So thanks, Tom. So just like the attendance check-in, we'll do the same thing. I'll go down through the list. If you were not at the June 3rd meeting, or you're a new member joining us, you may abstain. So if you weren't there and you're a new member, just when I call on you, feel free to say abstain. Deborah, she stepped out. Karen Brown?
Abstain.
Thank you. Kim? Oh,
Abstain.
Okay. Amber?
Approve.
Elnoria and Stephanie? Did we lose Stephanie?
No, I'm here. My screen kept sliding down, acting weird.
Okay. So is that a yes, Stephanie?
Yes.
Thank you. Faisal?
Thanks.
Jackson?
Abstain.
Heather?
Approve.
April?
Abstain.
Elizabeth?
Abstain.
Zena?
Abstain.
Tom?
Approve.
Neelam?
Approve, President.
Steve?
Approve.
Okay. Thank you. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 abstentions. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 7 approvals. Okay. Moving forward, we are at the Board Liaison Superintendent update. So John, I'm going to turn it back to you to introduce our guests.
Perfect. Yes, so I'm going to turn it over now to our board liaisons. We have Board President Villasquez and Dr. McKibben with us, and then over to Superintendent Kern and Deputy Superintendent Bassinelli.
Thanks. Hi again. I introduced myself briefly, but I'll take a little bit of extra time now. I'm Paula Villasquez, and I'm the board president for the San Juan Unified School District. And first and foremost, thank you all for being here. Both our current members that are starting a brand new school year with us. We really, really appreciate you. And to our new members, thank you very much. For stepping up and joining us in this important work and business of the committee. A little bit about me. I am a proud graduate from San Juan Schools. I graduated from Mira Loma High School, and I was elected in 2016 and have served ever since then. And it's been a true honor and a privilege. And my engagement with the district started on a committee very similar to this one. It was the Curriculum and Standards Committee. And I believe the same is true of Dr. McKibben. And so these, I point that out to say that these committees are super important and super critical and really are a place for voice. We do a lot of work trying to engage our parents and our communities and our students. We serve 40,000 students and families. And so sometimes it can be hard. So I really have always appreciated this very thoughtful and collaborative space. And of course, the work product of the Lcap is very important and has a huge impact across the district. A little bit about the board. There are 5 of us, and so Dr. McKibben is also the board liaison to the committee, and we are all elected from throughout the school district boundaries to represent the community. And so ultimately, we will adopt a lot of the work that you all do based on the recommendations you will make. And so we really depend on you all and your input. And so thank you again, and I will turn it over to Dr. McKibben.
I want to add my welcome to what President Viasquez said. As she mentioned, I started off on 2 different school site councils, then moved over to curriculum instruction and was on that committee for 8 years, and then was enticed for some reason to run for school board. Actually lost the first time and won the second time. And I'm now in my 7th, almost 8th year on the school board and so forth. I wanted to take a little bit of time to talk a little bit about our expectations related to the Parent Advisory Committee members of Lcap. This is, as you know, a legislated committee, and you play a very critical role for us in terms of looking at our data. One of the things that guides us is the notion for everything that we try to do, we try to do it from a continuous improvement lens. This drives our work in many ways. You are, your most important roles in the Lcap is to indeed create the report that goes to the legislature that was talked about earlier. The reports, one of the good news about our reports is we get smaller every year as we write these reports, and that's good news. We at one point was writing 200+ page reports, and we don't do that much anymore. Hopefully we never will again. But part of what we count on you, and Paula and I had the opportunity to review all of the things that you sent in, and you indeed are an all-star panel. Many of you have served on school site panels. Many of you have been through the FACE orientations. Many of you have done different kinds of roles. And so, because the work that you will do on the Lcap panel takes some experience. And I was very encouraged as I listened to you talk about wanting to contribute, wanting to come out of your learned experiences and so forth, and ask the tough questions, because that's part of what Lcap does. The Lcap, probably more than any other group, helps us document what we do, both our successes and those places where we come up short. You help us tell our story. You are our eyes and ears in the community. All of these things make you critically important to the work that we do. As you see what you're doing, remember what the mission is from that continuous improvement frame, that we are here to reduce the predictability at which our students may fail. We do it from an equity lens to eliminate the barriers for all of our populations. Lcap was formed legislatively to have particular targets on English learners, on the homeless, on foster youth, on low-income students. And so we in particularly value the lens that you bring to us in these areas, because we are all about the whole notion of growth, getting better at what we do. And you play a critically important role in help us get better. And we're looking forward to working with you. And thanks for stepping up and being part of our eyes and our ears and help us make the decisions in the school district.
Thank you. Superintendent Kern and Deputy Superintendent Bassinelli, would you like to say a few words?
Thanks, John. I appreciate that. Welcome, everybody. I'm Kent Kern. I'm the superintendent. I started my 8th year in this role back in March, starting my 29th year in the district. As Paula, I am also a student that went through the district all the way from elementary, graduated from Bella Vista High School a long time ago. So just excited to be here. happy to have all of you here, you new folks. It's exciting to see so many current parents as well. That hasn't always been the case, to have as many parents of students at this time. So that's great. I think that adds a lot of value to the committee. Just real quickly, a couple of updates. We are in our 6th day of school. Lots of challenges we're facing this year. As much as we'd like to say it is a normal school year, we know there's going to be ongoing challenges. We hope, even as we're going through some of those challenges over the course of the year, to really have input gathered from this committee as well. President Viasquez mentioned we have a board of 5. Just to update those folks, we were going through a process this summer related to the California Voters' Right Act. We will actually be expanding our board from 5 to 7. The school board in November of 22, and we're excited to say there was a lawsuit against the district as well, and the district actually came out on top, and that lawsuit was dismissed. So we're excited to start moving forward with additional board members in the future, and having so many new members on this committee is exciting as well. So welcome. We look forward to you participating, and I'll turn it over to Melissa.
Hi, my name is Melissa Bassinelli. I'm the Deputy Superintendent of Schools and Student Support. And as somebody who supports John in this work in developing the Lcap, I'm very honored to be here. And your voice in terms of your lived experience, but also listening. I've always been so impressed with the thoughtfulness and the listening ear that this committee has had with the community, because it's really lifting the community's voice inside of this work, which helps us really build a plan that's responsive to the needs in our community. So I'm excited to be a part of this. I am not a graduate of San Juan Unified School District, but I have worked in San Juan. I'm starting my 24th year here in San Juan Unified School District, and I have 3 students who are graduates of schools in our school district as well. Just a couple of things that I just wanted to share with the committee is our schools are really working on focusing on building upon the learning that occurred last year. There's a lot of language and emphasis about what was lost, and our focus going into the school year is really looking and valuing the learning that occurred with families in the communities and also with the teachers. So we're trying to kind of flip the narrative and not look at what kids are coming to missing, but looking at what was learned last year, and then how do we lift from that point. So that's a piece of emphasis right now in our schools. Next month, I will be presenting some information related to some federal dollars that we received. They're titled ESSER 3, and it's the Elementary and Secondary Schools Emergency Relief Funds. And we've last year in May, we worked together to synthesize the input from our community and develop a plan that was titled the Expanded Learning Opportunities Plan. And those were state dollars that initiated that planning. But what we did is we used the state dollars that we had received, and we braided in the federal dollars through these ESSER funds to really build a multi-year robust plan. So what we will be working on is continuing that planning process and reviewing. I'll be sharing the actions that were planned in May that are going to be included in the plan that we are submitting this fall, but we're also looking towards input related to creating safe learning environments for students as we continue to navigate through the pandemic. So starting next week, there will be a thought exchange survey that will be initiated in our community that will help us get some input around those pieces. And then we'll be pushing out into several community groups with listening sessions to get more input around creating safe and healthy environments in our schools. And we will also be talking about that in the PAC next month. So I think that's it for my summary, but thank you for the time, and I'm very glad to be here.
Thank you.
Can we just take one quick moment before we move on? Sorry, just to introduce, I think we have maybe really just Dan or a couple of other staffers, just so our committee members know who's staff and who is participants.
I think that's a great idea, Paula. Thank you. So I'm going to start with Deborah Calvin, Dr. Calvin, who's
I didn't even see Dr. Calvin join us.
Okay,
I
just joined.
Hello, my name is Deborah Calvin. I'm the Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services, and not presenting or anything tonight, just wanted to visit.
We're glad to have you, Dr. Calvin. And I think Jennifer Stahlhuber already introduced herself. She is our new Chief Financial Officer. And then Dan Thigpen, do you want to?
Hi, everyone. Dan Thigpen. Like Dr. Calvin, I'm not presenting tonight, just lurking on the LCAP. I am our new Senior Director of Labor Relations. This is my second opportunity to serve the stakeholders of San Juan Unified. I began my career in public education about a decade ago in San Juan Unified. Worked at a couple other agencies and have the honor of coming back and serving in a new role. I look forward to listening and learning with all of you this evening.
And then we also have Peter Skibitsky.
Good evening, Peter Skibitsky, Senior Director of Technology Services. Participate these and hoping to enable tools of technology to assist in the learning endeavors.
I think that covers it. Thank you, Paula.
All right, thank you, everybody. And so we're going to transition now into our staff report, and I have the pleasure of providing that this evening for you all. So for this evening, I'm going to share with you where we have been and what we've been able to accomplish together as a team, but also where we are now and where we're going. So the Local Control Accountability Plan is a 3-year plan that describes the goals, the actions, services, and expenditures to support positive student outcomes, that emphasizes English learner, foster youth, students experiencing homelessness, and socioeconomically disadvantaged student groups, as well as meaningful stakeholder engagement. And the LCAP is also centered around 2 core principles around equity and continuous improvement. So I want to begin by recognizing that the development of the 2021-24 LCAP process actually began 2 years ago at the beginning of the 2019-2020 school year, but was placed on hold in March of 2020 because of COVID-19. After guidance was provided by the California Department of Education, we resumed our LCAP work in January of 2021. And then to continue what was started on the LCAP, we had developed a strategy that allowed us to build on the work that we did in 2019 and 2020, reflect on what we learned in 2020 and 2021, and then refine our actions for our 21-24 LCAP. And so a key component of our LCAP development process included meaningful community engagement. So beginning in January and continuing through March of 2021, the district conducted over 50 listening sessions with 24 stakeholder groups that included students, families, and then as well as staff and employee groups. And some of the key themes that emerged across those stakeholder groups, across our stakeholder groups, included stakeholder voice and engagement, mental health supports, differentiated academic and social emotional supports, inclusive environments and relationship building, as well as college, career, and life skills. And within these 5 larger themes, 92 sub-themes were identified, and 91 of them are reflected currently in our LCAP actions. And then with regard to the LCAP PAC, 79 considerations were made and 75 are reflected in our current LCAP actions. So this is all to say that stakeholder input was and will continue to be a key focus of our LCAP process. And then the considerations provided by the LCAP PAC, along with input provided from stakeholder groups across our district, was then used to create, revise, and align our actions to our LCAP goals, which are listed here. So I'll just leave this up for a moment so you can see these. And then finally, I just would like to share some of our next steps as an LCAP PAC over the next few months, beginning this evening, with us holding LCAP PAC chair and co-chair elections, as well as reviewing our Green Act and bylaws, which we will be doing shortly. In September, we will be doing an ESSER 3 funds listening session. And just briefly, the ESSER 3 funds are the elementary and secondary school relief funds, which is COVID-19 federal funding for districts from the American Rescue Plan Act. And then you can see here in October, we will begin with part 1 of our LCAP PAC orientation. And then we will continue in November with a part 2 LCAP PAC orientation. And so with that, I am now going to turn it over to Laura, who I believe is going to help facilitate our general visitor comments. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, John. We have one visitor tonight, and I believe it's Buzz. We spoke earlier today, so we're happy to have you here, Buzz. So with general visitor comments, that's an opportunity for visitors to address the committee on any item that is not on the agenda. If you would like to if you have a question or would like to make a comment, you've got 2 minutes to do that. Because we're under the Green Act, it allows the public to address the committee for items on the agenda and items that are not on the agenda, but the Green Act also prohibits actions by the committee on non-agenda items. So issues raised by the public may be referred to a future agenda, meeting agenda for LCAP PAC discussion. So with that, I'm going to open it up. If anyone has a question or comment from the public, feel free to raise your hand and I'll call on you.
Can you see me?
We can. Is that you, Buzz? I figured that was you.
I've lost the display, but so thank you. My name is Buzz Weisenfeld. I am have been involved in West End school support for 25 or 30 years. You know, my question really is about what process was used to identify stakeholders, because frankly, we have not been included. We provide probably $40,000 or $50,000 in support in enrichment activities at Encina and Greer every year, including engaging B Street Theater in multiple ways for you know, for all sorts of ESL and literacy training. And I'm stunned that I have to, and we've been out here doing this for decades, and I just don't understand how we were not identified as a stakeholder for the work that preceded this. And that's my only comment.
Great, thank you, Buzz, for pointing that out. We will, as we can't respond to that, but we will definitely follow up with you on that. Thank you. Okay, and with that, we will move in to the LCAP PAC review. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it back to John.
Thank you, Laura. So as Laura mentioned here, our next agenda item will focus on reviewing a few of the foundational documents that will guide our work together as an LCAP PAC. And you can see here that'll include our norms, our meeting calendar, the Green Act, our bylaws, and then we'll end with some additional visitor comments and an LCAP PAC discussion around this particular agenda item. So the first document is our LCAP PAC core values and norms for collaboration. This document was created last year in collaboration with the LCAP PAC chairs and was used to ground our work together as a team throughout the year. So our core values are centered around voice, access, and clarity. And this evening, with the sharing of our bylaws, we'll be focusing on clarity, which is to be clear about our purpose and role as an advisory committee. And just before we continue here, I just would like you to review our LCAP PAC norms and core values, and just pick one that resonates with you that you would like to focus on for the remainder of this evening. So I'll just leave this up for a few seconds so you can take a look. Thank you, everyone. All right, so next here is our LCAP PAC meeting schedule for the 2021-22 school year. We meet monthly from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. and until further notice, we will be doing so over Zoom. This was included in the email that Laura sent on Friday, August 13th, and this is also posted on the Lcap PAC website. If you look at the column on the far left, you will notice that there are a few meetings where the agenda item is not listed. While we certainly have agenda items in mind here, we just want to be flexible in responding to additional state legislative action and to collaborate with our new chair and co-chair in developing those agendas as well. And so in the 2021 and 2022 school year, the Lcap PAC bylaws were updated to conform from the Brown Act to the Green Act. And so the main difference here is that committee members under the Green Act can now meet outside of public meetings without being in violation. So I'll just give you a moment to read these key points here as well. All right, so next now what we're going to do is going to review our Lcap PAC bylaws. So a PDF has been placed in the chat for your convenience, and we're just going to take, we are going to place you in breakout rooms where we would like you to take about 10 minutes or so to read the bylaws and highlight a word, a sentence, or a bylaw that resonates with you and why. And then in your groups, take turns sharing with one another. So
John, before we go into breakout rooms, can we just check and see if any committee members have any questions on what you've covered so far?
Well, at the very end of this, there's going to be a section for, public comment as well as committee Lcap discussion. It'll be part of the agenda. This is still part of the agenda. So yes, there will be opportunity for that, Tom.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And so again, just to repeat, you'll have about 10 minutes in your breakout rooms. Go ahead and read the bylaws. And then you can select a word, a sentence, and bylaw that resonates with you and why, and just take turns sharing with one another in your group. And so Laura, I'll turn it over to you here to help us get to that place.
Yes, thank you, John. I've set up everybody into breakout rooms. If you are a visitor, you may participate in a breakout room as an observer, but according to our bylaws and the Green Act, observers are not allowed to interact with committee members. So please participate as an observer. I'll pop in and see if you want to be rotated to another room as well. But you will, if you're a visitor, when we get back, you'll have an opportunity to ask questions as well. Okay, and with that, I'll go ahead and put everybody into rooms.
All right, perfect. Welcome back, everybody. So I think we have everyone back. Yes. All right, welcome back, folks. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to turn it over to Laura, who is going to help facilitate our visitor comments section based off of this agenda item. So Laura, I'll turn it over to you here.
Hey, once again, if you're a visitor, you've got the opportunity to ask a question or comment. However, our Green Act does not allow the committee to address your comments or questions. With that, I'm going to ask if we have any visitors who would like to make a comment specific to the review of our bylaws or the Green Act. Okay, and we do not have any visitor comments. So we will move forward to the LCAP review, Lcap PAC discussion. So now's an opportunity for the PAC committee to have an open discussion, ask any comments or ask any questions, make any comments regarding our bylaws, the Green Act, and anything we just covered.
See, I've got probably a question, and it may simply be a clarification. especially since or for our senior members that may have started prior to last year and gone through previous training when we were described as being underneath the Brown Act. And one of the things I recall that as a Brown Act committee, it was sort of brought home that when an email comes out to the entire committee, for Brown Act committees, members should not generally hit reply all unless it's perhaps on something that's not really committee business. But underneath the Green Act, we're allowed to have discussions and within, say, email chains. So my understanding is that if an email goes out, that it's perfectly acceptable within our committee if we want to comment and hit reply all and have an ongoing discussion within a email thread. Is that correct?
Tom, yeah, I believe so. I think you're correct in that. With the Green Act, we are able to have open committee discussions. We enable the chat function that everybody can chat with everybody or somebody individually. So I would assume that the same thing holds for emails as well, without any consequences that the Brown Act has.
Yeah, I think the main thing is that we can actually come to a decision as a group. So our deciding on something or among the entire group is really done in a vote during a public meeting. But we can certainly discuss and form our own opinions outside of our public meetings, and also form subcommittees and go into things in further detail if there are members that have a particular interest of a particular topic area and they want to delve deeper and get together with other members of the committee between our regularly scheduled public meetings. That's a possibility. So those are my only comments and discussion. If any other committee members have something, please feel free to speak up.
Okay. Did I miss somebody? I don't see any hands raised. Okay, so with that completes the LCAP PAC discussion. So moving forward, we will go into the committee business section. John, would you like to kick that off and then turn it back over to Tom?
Sure. Give me 1 second if you want to go to the next slide here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, perfect. So for this next section, we're going to, again, this will be the committee business section, where Tom will be taking this over here in just a moment, but we will be sharing our chair and co-chair leadership responsibilities. Again, there'll be an opportunity to provide visitor comments. And afterward, we will also have an LCAP PAC discussion. And Tom and Heather have graciously volunteered to share their experience serving as chair and co-chair with us. And then we'll end this section by holding our LCAP PAC chair and co-chair elections. So with that, Tom, we'll turn it over to you for the next slide to go over the bylaws of these sections here.
Okay, all right. Yeah, thank you. So hold the elections once a year. They're specified in the bylaws, which so every year, and it's written into the bylaws that we try to have these elections at the end of the school year. However, in June, the committee kind of decided, because there had been a fair amount of attrition and last year, and we knew new people would be coming on board. So the committee in June made a motion and voted to delay or pause the election until the beginning of this academic year, because we'd have new people, and it also provided an opportunity for those new people to be involved in the process. and as a way to also kind of get for the new people to get to know some of the existing members on the committee. The main one of the main functions we're involved in is working with staff, John and Laura, for this well, the past year for the most part, putting together an agenda. The agenda items we discussed. There's really kind of several phases of LCAP. During the beginning of the school year is when a lot of people start learning what LCAP is. We start getting some data based upon last year's implementations of LCAP. And so the first half year is kind of finding out where we've been and where we are. And then the second half of the year is really kind of looking at what sort of changes we can do to improve the LCAP. And we work with putting together agenda items every month with staff. That helps kind of guide and direct the discussions, as well as at the meetings, we'll ask committee members like what information, what data, and committee members can say what they would like future agenda items to be. So a lot of what the LCAP does is by the will and consensus of the whole group. I like to sort of emphasize the more democratic aspects of the committee and its process of decision making. Let's see, there is also as leadership, and our leadership consists of a LCAP chairperson, an assistant LCAP chairperson, and we just added a student chair that is also part of LCAP. So we decided, the decision has been made because we only have currently 2 students, so we have 2 vacancies on the committee right now for 2 students, and with school starting up, we hope to fill those positions, and then at a future meeting, possibly next month, the students will elect who they would like their student representative to be as part of the LCAP leadership team. And as chair and assistant chair, the LCAP and also student chair, we have, when there is a school board meeting, there is a place on the agenda for at the school board for the Board of Education to hear from committees. So we have an opportunity at each school board meeting to share any work that has come out of our committee or things that our committee would like to make as recommendations or advise the school board in. So that is another role of the LCAP chairperson. So and assistant chairperson. So it's really a lot of it is trying to do what you can to improve the functioning of the committees, make sure the committee members feel heard and connected, and to facilitate whatever needs. I tend to think of a leadership position as being somebody that is in service of the people that elected them to that position. So as I consider elected positions as basically being public servants to those constituents that elected them. So I see, that's my perspective. I guess I'll have Heather, if she wants to speak up. She's been assistant chair here for the past year, and so if she wants to share her perspective on things.
Yeah, I think I come from like a more experiential community, like family and student engagement perspective, because I really believe that the folks who are most impacted by the system should be the ones who are leading and have voice. And what my experience was initially coming in on as LCAP was like, oh my gosh, this is overwhelming, right? I know that I represent a student and a family experience experience that is not unlike other folks. And my student deserves to be successful, as do all of the other student groups that we represent in the LCAP. But there seems to at times be a disconnect between the documents and the data and the process that at times can be disengaging, and not for lack of trying and support and effort and value in terms of like, you know, San Juan and admin. It's just sometimes the way that systems are top-down decision-making, or not decision-making, but systems and process, right? And so I think for me, in addition to staying laser focused, of course, on our charge and our work, I've always been considering how do we make the LCAP more accessible? And how do we make sure that anyone who comes onto the LCAP or who comes to visit, one, knows about the LCAP, knows about the value, and sees themselves in it, and doesn't feel like, oh, I'm not qualified enough, right? And so I think for me, a big part of the journey as co-chair has been considering, you know, the disconnect between systems and people, and really trying to find ways that we can deconstruct some of the norms while maintaining the integrity of the work to ensure that everyone who participates, again, sees themselves in that process. It has the opportunity to learn and grow in ways that, you know, are best for them, whether it's visually, you know, whether it's reading and studying, whether it's, you know, through relationship building with both the admin and our support team from San Juan, as well as the other folks who are on the committee, and so on and so forth. And I really just want to name that because, you know, I have heard time and time again from different folks like, oh, it's so much. And I just, you know, sometimes folks who would be amazing leaders might shy away from leaning into that, thinking that, you know, oh, I'm not a good fit because I don't know. I don't understand all the acronyms that San Juan uses, for example. And so I say all of that to say that there's absolute room and space and opportunity for you to grow and learn and ask questions. And what I have come to learn on my journey, because I was almost going to shy away from being co-chair because I felt like, oh, maybe I'm not ready. Maybe I'm not, you know, I don't know, there yet, so on and so forth, is that, you know, Laura and John, he's the whole director of LCAP, right? They're the experts, and the things that we don't know are accessible if we were to ask. And the questions that I've had about, or that we have raised along the way about how we can break down those barriers of accessing the LCAP or understanding the LCAP or learning how it applies, or how the data correlates into the recommendations and so on and so forth, or even how to prepare it. They are amazing supports and will help us and guide us along the way. And you don't have to be the expert. You just have to be willing. You just have to be open to learning and asking the critical questions and engaging in important ways. And, you know, I don't remember who it was when we did our activity earlier, but someone said like leading with your passion, right? And staying true to that, because it is so data heavy. The process can be cumbersome, and we do a lot of really heavy lifting and really important work. But there is a way to merge the two, right? If that makes sense. And so I really wanted to lift that and share that. I'm glad that I leaned into the discomfort and had this opportunity to, you know, engage and learn and grow. And I just am really thankful for that. And I thought it was really important to name that today, because if there's any of you who are thinking, you know what, maybe I don't know enough, if you're willing, and you know, then you're ready, if that makes sense, because we've got a great team here and a great process that can help bring you along, if you would like to lead. So that is pretty much what I have to say.
Okay. Well, thank you, Heather. I believe, Laura, is that we're now visitor comment in this section?
Yes, we'll back up to visitor comments. Do we have any visitors that would like to comment on the committee business item? Okay, and with that, we will go back directly into elections. But I just want to thank Tom and Heather for sharing your perspective and your experiences, for being on the leadership team We've been so lucky to have them on board. They make a great team. We look forward to bringing on a new team as well, knowing that we have the experience with Tom and Heather to assist us in our endeavors going forward. So I'm going to turn it over to Tom, but before I turn it over, I do want to mention that we've got 2 volunteers that have expressed interest in becoming leaders of our Lcap PAC. We have Steve Rubens, who has expressed interest in serving in the chair role. And we have Amber Busby, who's conveyed her interest in serving in the co-chair role. So Tom, the floor is yours.
Okay, yeah. Actually, I was wondering if, because one of the roles of the chair of the committee is working with the school board, if whether our board liaison here would care to comment on the how the chairperson and assistant chair can best serve the board liaison, or if President Viasquez or Dr. McKibben might care to comment on the interaction there with the Lcap leadership that is elected on the team.
Sure, Tom. So, at least the last year or so, Tom and Heather have both been super engaged in making the agenda and kind of driving the work of the Lcap along with John and our team. And I'm in regular communications with John, and so as a team, that's kind of what leads the work for the year. And of course, typically, just for old and new members alike, this is my personal view and how I kind of behave as a board liaison. I get a lot of opportunities to do a lot of speaking, and so I do a lot of the listening in the Lcap and as a board liaison. But of course, I'm always happy to connect via email or set up other times for further discussion in collaboration with staff.
All right. Well, thank you. All right. So I'll let's see, Laura. So next, you said, is it? Are we at the point of for any further discussion, or see if there's any questions from the members here?
Yes, definitely. We can go forward with any PAC members if they have any questions or would like to discuss anything pertaining to the elections that will take place. We do have, as I mentioned before, Steve Rubens interested in the chair position, Amber Busby interested in the co-chair position. It's also open for other members that may be interested in a position as well. So with that, do we?
Yeah, we'll see if there's anybody that wants to make any nominations, whether they would care to nominate somebody else for either one of those positions, or they can also if somebody cares to self-nominate. So I've always felt that competition brings excellence. So if there's anybody else that cares to nominate or speak up. Oh, okay. So Kim Brown says that she's interested. Oh, okay.
Can I nominate myself for this position, please?
Which position, Zena?
The chairman.
Okay. So I think we'll start with the chairperson.
Yes.
Laura, let's put together a list of who's interested in the chairperson position. So we have, I see Steve, and Kim says that she is also interested. And Zena, you said you're interested in being chair, is that correct?
No, not me. I nominate Faisal Al-Fakli.
Oh, Faisal. Okay.
Okay. And
Faisal, is that something you'd like to be nominated for?
For me?
Zena, you're nominating Faisal for chair, is that correct? So yes. I'm just asking Faisal if he's interested in the nomination.
Sure. I would be happy to do that.
Okay. And then Kim, you're interested in the chair position as well?
Yes.
Okay.
I am
Anybody
so
else?
excited by this. This is great.
Okay.
Heather, that was a crazy laugh.
I feel like, oh my gosh, that's so good. I don't know. I love it.
So wait, let's see, I believe we currently have 3 people who have been nominated for chair. Or if there are any other nominations, speak up. Otherwise, I guess we'll close the nominations for chairperson. Okay.
I nominate my mom for co-chair.
Okay, we're just
Oh, is
doing
that-
chair. Yeah, we're just doing chair now. We'll get to co-chair after we elect the chairperson. So, all right. So I guess we got 3 people going once, going twice, going 3. Okay. I'll go ahead and close nominations for the chairperson. And then I think we'll go to a vote.
Okay.
So Laura will go through those members of the committee and well, go ahead and read off the 3 names, and then everybody will choose which name they care to vote for. And this is done in public, so these are not secret ballots. And go ahead, Laura, I'll let you go through the list.
Thanks, Tom. So I will run down the list and just voice who would you like to have for your chair. We have Steve Rubens, Faisal, and Kim Brown. So Deborah, I know you're new, Deborah, but just go for it. Who would you vote for chair?
Kim Brown.
Okay, how about Karen? Karen Brown, are you still with us? Oh, looks like she dropped off. Okay. Kim, who would you vote for? Kim Brown?
Kim Brown.
Okay. Amber?
Steve Rubens.
Elnoria?
Go.
Kim.
Stephanie?
Oh man. I'm like Dr. Steve. Kim.
Faisal?
Faisal.
Okay. Jackson?
Steve Rubens.
Thank you. Heather?
Okay. So listen, am I allowed to ask a question and get a response before I vote? A clarifying question? Is that breaking the rules?
I think so. This is the discussion part too.
Yeah.
You're good.
Okay. I think my question would be to Steve. Would you also be interested in both positions, Steve, or just chair? I'm allowed to ask a direct question.
Of course.
Okay.
No, I was unmuting. I'm happy to serve in whatever capacity.
In either capacity. Okay.
Yeah.
So good to hear that. All right. Because I think all of you would do great. And actually this is challenging and I don't want to belabor, but I just needed to say that. So I think I'm going to go with Kim on this one. And then I would like to see Steve's name on the other one, you know?
Okay. April?
Steve Rubens.
Thank you. Elizabeth?
Kim Brown.
Chelsea?
Kim Brown.
Zena?
Faisal.
Tom?
Steve.
Neelam?
Steve.
Steve?
Got to go with Steve.
Okay, so let me count them up real quick. We have 2 for Faisal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 for Kim. Tom, I hope you're capturing this too to make sure I'm counting these right. 1, 2, 3. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for Steve.
Yes, I think.
Did I get that?
Yeah.
That also
Okay.
catches my count. I was tallying.
Okay, thank you. So it looks like we have Kim Brown as our new chair.
Well, very close vote.
Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
Congrats, Kim.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So Tom, would you like to go through the co-chair?
Yeah, we'll now open it for nominations for co-chair. So, and so who's, let's see, go ahead. Anybody want to speak up and nominate somebody?
Okay, I'm nominating Steve. I'm just gonna pass mine on to Steve. I'm not gonna do it.
Okay. So Steve is
I feel
nominated.
bad. I love Steve too.
I do too.
Okay. Any other nominations?
Amber, would you like to still move forward with this?
I am going to vote for Steve, knowing that he's open to co-chair, so I'm okay with being removed.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you, Amber. Okay.
I vote for my mom.
No, we're going to Steve.
That's funny. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead just to make this official. We'll do a roll call again. Deborah, who would you like to vote for chairperson? We've got Steve running.
Okay, so Steve.
Thank you. Kim?
Steve.
Amber?
Steve.
Elnoria?
Steve.
Okay, Stephanie?
Miss Steve.
Faisal?
For sure, Steve.
Jackson?
Steve.
Heather?
Oh my gosh, I was stuck on mute. Steve.
Thank you. April?
This is a really difficult decision, but I'm going to go with Steve.
All right. Thank you. Elizabeth?
Steve.
Chelsea?
Steve.
Zena?
Steve.
Tom?
Steve.
Neelam?
Steve.
Steve?
Steve.
Okay. All right, it's unanimous. We have Steve for our co-chair.
Yay!
Yay. Okay, we're gonna have a great team. So we have Kim coming in for chair and Steve for co-chair. And that'll begin next month. So
Yeah.
buckle up.
All right.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
I believe that closes out agenda item number 10. We're now at agenda item 11, future agenda items. So as I think as John already mentioned, we have a calendar, but there is does anybody have any topics as future agenda items that they would like to see discussed or get information on for our future meetings?
Yeah, stay on top of this COVID. How are we going to do this with our meetings?
Okay. All right. And any other topics people care to bring up for future agenda items?
I think maybe some kind of report back on, I know school's just starting, but if there's any way to get some data on, basically what's going on in schools and how things are going.
Okay.
Any kind of data that we can get on that. As far as, mental health is important to me. Like, social emotional is my big thing. I got 2 young sons in the district, so that'd be something I'd like to see. How I know it seems everyone's doing really well as far as getting back, but it's kind of just the beginning. So if there's any data on that, I'd be interested.
Thank you, Steve. Because yes, that and sports. Because I got to go to a sports game tomorrow and do concession. So it's in the smoke and COVID and school, all three. Man, for real.
Yeah.
I have a couple things, Tom.
Pardon? Go ahead.
Sorry, this is Chelsea. I have a couple of things, Tom. I would suggest a conversation about the quarantine policy and how that is going to ultimately affect our chronic absenteeism rates and how that will ultimately affect the bottom line for the district, and how that's connected to potentially the district applying for a J13 waiver to recoup some of those funds. So I think looking long-term, we got some long-term potential pitfalls that we need to be looking out for.
I also want, sorry, go ahead.
The second thing I was going to bring up was, independent study access for students in quarantine and how the district is going to make that possible. I come from a slightly unique perspective because my son on day 4 of school was put into mandatory quarantine. So I'm experiencing this firsthand.
Day 1 for us.
Great.
Was that your only items? Were those your items? I didn't want to cut you off again.
Yes, April.
So I know that the district is offering tested, and I know that when our students are put on these mandatory quarantines or these soft quarantines, they're required to get tested. But the testing is like all over the district, and it's right in the middle of the morning when people are at work, and it makes it so difficult to go get the testing, or you have to try and get a hold of a CVS or a Walgreens, and then or your insurance, and sometimes your insurance won't cover it. If it's a school related issue, they say the school has to take care of it. And so I think we need to look at our testing availability and things of that as it relates to COVID and these quarantine things that are going to come up.
I absolutely second that, April, and want to mention that the county is setting up sites at a lot of Sac City Unified School District schools. And so I think there's a great, if we're not already partnering with the county, I think there are opportunities there that we should avail ourselves of.
I actually have a quick question. When you all are talking about COVID testing at the schools, are they the rapid test or are they the PCR test?
The rapid test.
The rapid. So I guess my question to that is, to my understanding, the rapid tests have about like a 70% to 75% accuracy rate, which is concerning to me at times when we're thinking about public health and exposure. The organization that I work for has both of the options, and we've seen a large margin of error that makes me concerned if we're utilizing the rapid test to kind of, and I get that it's kind of like a baseline. However, there's around 25% room for error, which I don't know. It's just concerning to me. I just want to name that since we're on the topic.
Okay, all right. So let's see, future agenda items. I also, as a future agenda item, would like to get information on enrollment. I believe after day 20, then the enrollment, I think for the district is sort of locked in as to what is used by the state for what the enrollment is, which then affects funding. So if we could get enrollment information, whether enrollment has, well, I'm pretty sure I've heard across most school districts that enrollment has gone down, but also if we could get detail information as to where it's gone down, whether it's by school or by, well, actually I would say enrollment data, both by school site, but also by some demographic information as it relates to our LCAP students.
Another thing that I think might be important for us to look at is opportunities for students who may have experienced some learning loss or maybe on the border there of not meeting standards, like what opportunities and things are available for those students to try and get some extra educational support that they may need.
I think, let's see, is Melissa still on? I'm wondering if that pertains to information on the ELO, the extended or expanded learning opportunity grant.
Yep.
Okay.
Another future item that I would like to see on there is alternatives for social distancing during lunchtime, or maybe staggering lunches, because I know last year students didn't have lunchtime where there were so many students in one place. And this year they do, if maybe there's some alternatives so that there aren't students getting COVID because of lunchtime.
To piggyback on that, Kim, I would suggest a similar conversation on the mask policy for outside time, recess, et cetera, and how that again is going to drive quarantine and then again drive chronic absenteeism and again impact the district budget.
I agree.
So I'll just chime in. Like I understand the district budget, but I care more about the kids than the budget, which is mutually reflective. But I don't know. It's hard to talk about money and kids.
The reason I'm bringing up money is because all the research shows that kids have got to be in school this year. Mental health is increased, not only academics, but mental health access, all of food access, all of those things that school provides for support for our neediest kids. We need to maximize the number of days they are in school this year. And so I think the district's actions related to all these topics that would drive greater participation in school, therefore less quarantine, will only help our academic outcomes.
Yeah, and just to sort of try and connect the two, caring about kids and the budget are very much linked in that how you spend the money. So I think, for example, you would have a lot more kids engaged if you could spend a lot more money, so the kids would go on field trips like every month. But of course, from a budgetary point of view, that would be very enriching and positive, and it would really benefit the kids and the students. But obviously, having kids go on field trips every month would just break the budget, and is not feasible. So it is important to kind of realize when we want to do things for kids, it almost always takes money. So, and that balancing of money is taking a look at the pie of the funds of the district and deciding who's going to get this piece and who's going to get that piece. So the caring for the kids and paying attention to the budget, they're actually complementary. They're not mutually exclusive. At least that's my.
I agree. I agree. I agree. I said that.
Okay, let's see. Any other future agenda items?
This is Amber. I'd be interested. I don't know if actually this is the right space for this, but from the short time that I served on facilities committee, I'd be interested to know what's coming down the pipeline in terms of upgrades to schools, particularly on the West End, from facilities. I think also going back to the point about like lunchtime in the cafeteria, I don't know like who kind of oversees the custodial department, but I want to make sure that there are COVID procedures put into place in between the very rapid lunch times that kind of happen. For instance, little things like sanitizing the table before the next group of students sits down. I had one other thing, but I can't think of it. It'll come back to me.
Yeah, and Kim, I'll just add here, a lot of the points that are being made this evening are more aligned to our board meetings. And so those have definitely been covered and will continue to be covered. So we, while in this space, we will definitely be making connections between the items that folks brought up and directly related to our LCAP. Additional information and additional discussion, those are happening at our board meetings, so you can definitely tune in there. And I'm sure, when we can even consider when sharing this information with our board members as well with updates. So I just wanted to share that as well, Kim.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I would like to hear about any kind of revisions or new ways that students have mental health services accessible to them. I know we've spent a lot of time over the last few years talking about mental health services, White House in particular, and I'm wondering if there have been any new resources or, maybe having some sort of conversations around that to the point that mental health is so significant right now for our students.
I think information on, because, well, the virtual academies, that there's been a shift where there have been more and more students that and families that have liked and have made choices to go and have continue learning through virtual. So I'd like to get kind of an overview of the in-person options versus in how that compares to what virtual options are available, and such examples that sort of came to mind where during COVID, when everybody was virtually learning, and some of our high schools, for just as an example, did not offer certain foreign languages. So students that were enrolled at those schools that could not take a foreign language when those schools were physically meeting. But when everything became virtual, there was the opportunity, and I'm not sure how much it was taken advantage of, that if a student had wanted to take a foreign language that was not offered by a teacher at that school, that there was an opportunity, there could be an opportunity for that student to take that foreign language virtually. So I'm wondering how the combination of the advantages of virtual learning and physical learning, is there opportunities where those can be melded, or are they potentially being melded? And so what it may look like in terms of the offerings to our students that include virtual learning.
Tom, just to let you know, the virtual learning is not permitted anymore. The legislature does not want us to provide distance learning options. And so they revamped the independent study legislation. So without getting into discussion, there's going to be a board item on September 14th around independent study and homeschool. So you could attend that meeting to learn more about those programs and how they provide an alternative for students other than in-person learning.
Okay, all right, thank you, because I did note that I think Folsom Cordova has started a virtual academy, but I guess that would be roughly the equivalent to the option that we're providing of independent study.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. So let's see. And any other future agenda items? If not, then we may close this item out and go to go to the next agenda item.
Mm-hmm.
All right. which is, let's see, it looks like Heather has that.
Correct.
Ooh, our glows and grows. So this is the time where we get to talk about what we liked a lot about this particular meeting. We like to end every session with kind of reviewing the positives, maybe if there were some things that we would like to see differently. So I want to open it up to folks if there were things that worked really well, or something that really resonated with you that you would like to share, or something that you would like to see more of, or something that you maybe didn't prefer about today's meeting. We would like to hear that. Anyone have anything to share?
I'll share. I'm just proud to be a part of this process and be a part of the group. I'm looking forward to serving as your co-chair, and congratulations to Kem. And I'm just really excited for this year. 2 young boys, and it was hard watching them go through COVID. And I'm really happy they're in school, and I'm really grateful for all the work everyone does that I have no idea you're doing it on a daily basis, but you're doing it, and I appreciate it. Thank you to everyone.
Beautiful. Thank you, Steve.
I want to say that I think it was this was a great meeting. It worked really well having the meeting, I think, virtual, and in particular, knowing that some of our committee members may have concerns of meeting in person, whether it's the time it takes to get there, whether it's health concerns that they don't feel comfortable meeting in groups yet. But it also can be, there is a cost in terms of travel, both in money and time. So that I think it's really good that, and also it provides better access to the community, which also might not be able to attend for those same reasons, to have to continue in this virtual format. And it also, I'm not sure if the way that things are going that I would like. It seems like the school board meetings themselves could also benefit and have benefited actually with more community input when they provided the ability for people to attend virtually and members of the public to make public comment. So I would like our committee to continue, I guess, until the committee reaches a consensus that they want to meet in person, and that they have the resources and their concerns are mitigated enough that they would feel that we continue to meet virtually. So that I think it worked well, and I would like to continue it until the committee feels different.
Wonderful.
I'll piggyback on that. My glow is, yep, I agree, Tom. I enjoy being virtual and having our meetings by Zoom. I think we would have a lot more challenges if we were in person at this time. For my grow, and I did put this in the chat, if we could make sure that when we have breakout groups, we have a staff member in each breakout group. At first, we all kind of looked at each other and said, well, is somebody coming? Are we alone? What's happening? So it just was, it would be helpful to have a staff member in each breakout group, or to let us know there won't be one. That would also be helpful if that's the case.
Totally makes sense. Thank you so much, Chelsea and Tom. Yeah, I'll go ahead and jump in. Similarly, thank you both for naming that. I felt a huge sense of relief to hear that we were going back to Zoom for all the reasons, whether it's time, travel, but also health and time with the family in this transition. It's been a transition. So yeah, there's that. But another glow is that, oh my gosh, I was just so excited that there's so many folks in this meeting who are leaning towards leadership and engaged. And I'm just really excited for this year, honestly, because I've seen years where there has not been a lot of folks who have been willing to lead in that way. And so I'm super excited for Kim and Steve. I'm really excited for the conversations that have been had. I don't think I have any grows today, so I got a glow and a glow.
Thanks, Heather. That's awesome. My glow is that I'm really happy to see that our team is still really diverse. I love all the new members. I'm just happy to see all the new members. I'm really excited too about this year. Also, my glow is just this Lcap pack, the previous members, and I learned a lot from them, from Tom, from Heather, Amber, Stephanie, everyone. I've learned so much from everyone. That's a glow for me, not just in this meeting, but every single time we have these meetings, there's something new that I learned, and it has helped me to really grow. And I think my only grow is that I'm really going to need everyone's support, because this is going to be a challenge for me. But I was really happy with what Heather said going out, because it kind of solidified for me to just step out on faith and do what it was that I really wanted to do. But I just had a little fear of making that the final decision. Thanks.
Yay, thank you, Kim. And thank you for being willing. That's amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, my glow. You go, girl, Kim. So
thanks, Stephanie.
And you go, boy, Steve. So that was my glow. Bless you guys.
We receive it, Miss Stephanie. Thank you.
Yeah, I think we're gonna make an awesome team too.
I agree. This is gonna be rad. All right. Anyone else have any glows and grows they want to share out before we close?
Sorry, I'm on my phone, so I'm not used to the phone thing. I'm just my son didn't like homeschool. He's really happy to be home. It was back to school, and I have a kindergartner now and a third grader, and they're in the same school now, and they're both excited about it. It's a great schedule. They see each other when kindergarten ends at 11:30. And then their lunch at third grade is 11:30, so they get to say hi to each other, and we're coming back to get them. So it's cool. So I'm glad. It's just nice to see, sort of getting back to normal, and especially for the kids. That's all I care about, is that generation. So, and and anyone under 18 right now. Let's put it that way.
That's right. It is beautiful. It's been a rough couple of. Wow. Well, I guess almost 2 years. So yeah, thank you. All right. Last call for glows or grows. Anyone? All right. Well, thank you all. Throwing it back to you all.
Yeah, just before we wrap, we've got one opportunity for general visitor comments. And then we'll turn it over to John for any last things he'd like to say, and then we will adjourn for the evening and give you back some time. So we did a great job of staying on schedule, or staying ahead of schedule tonight. With that, do we have any general visitor comments? Okay, we do not have any comments, so I will turn it back to John.
All right, everybody. Again, I just want to thank you for joining us this evening. Again, Happy New Year. We're going to have a great year this year, and I look forward to working with all of you. So congratulations to all, and we will see you next month. Have a good night.
Yay. Good night, everyone. Congrats again.
Night.
Yeah.
Good night, everyone.